Hi there, Leo. I hope you guys are doing well. Thank you so much for your patience. Yeah, I want to go ahead and get into a general reading for you for the rest of February 2024. And before we get into that, I do want to mention that I am having a personal private reading special. So I'm offering one question for $30 and $15 each additional question. And if you want a personal reading with me, one-on-one, it is 100. And all of these are recorded for you, okay? I'm taking PayPal and Cash App, and if you are interested in any of that, feel free to check into the description box below. That is where the information will be. If you're new to this channel and you like the way I read, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. And thank you so much for being here. All right, Leo, let's get into this energy for the rest of February. So, your general energy here, Leo, is the Page of Cups. So this is a really, youthful, lighthearted energy. But this can also talk about really needing to listen to our inner voice, listening to our inner world, um, being sensitive to our needs here, and that's kind of what I'm picking up. Your oracle card is fear. I realize that I am testing my resolve to live in the energy of love. So yes, for sure, but like self-love too. I'm feeling like there's this kind of um why do I want to say overture? Um so it's like the first part of the movie. I'm getting that movie Ben-Hur, I think it is from the 50s. It's like the first part of the movie has finished, and now we're in the overture now. We're in the second portion where we're gearing up towards the moving forward here. So it's that balance in the middle. All right, I guess that's what I need to say here. Um, I don't feel that there's need for fear in that, but if there is fear, then address it, With the Page of Cups, I do feel that it's important to be, I want to say here, a little bit more idealistic with how you want your life to go, Leo. I want to say that it's important for you to, that's an interesting message. Like, you know how we are taught to experience things in a certain way, or this is the normative route that we should experience life in. And I feel here that you're kind of bucking the system, you're kind of shrugging that mentality off. I don't feel here that you want to be obstructed by the conditioning of others, especially when it comes to your internal world, when it comes to the things that make you happy. And so there is an element of needing to ground yourself, ground your energy, and also I do want to say idealize. There's parts of our life that we must idealize. We must see it for how we want to see it and then make it happen. It's okay to dream, is what I want to say here. Your approach to this month, your action, your approach, however you want to look at it, is the Queen of Pentacles reverse. This is an interesting message, though, just because it can talk a lot about turning within, turning inward. Maybe we've been in a position in our lives where we've kind of had to take care of everybody, or we've been the sole provider, or however it may be. Here we're turning inward. For those of you who are single, who don't have any children, this is really about taking care of yourself. This is about addressing issues maybe where we are not so financially independent. We need to become more financially independent. The Queen of Wands, or the Queen of Pentacles in reverse, can also talk a lot about self-care. It can talk about needing to sometimes be a little bit more selfish with your time for your own self-care. Sometimes it can talk about being selfish with others, materialistic, kind of gold diggery. But that's not necessarily coming here for me. I feel like what we're dealing with more so, Leo, is a need to be able to reflect and pull back our energy to focus it back on us. There's nothing wrong with being healthfully selfish, selfish in a healthy way. And so I feel that it's important for you guys to really pay attention to that, especially when it comes to your inner landscape, especially when it comes to how you view yourself and what your needs are, your core needs, your financial needs, your emotional needs, and how may they have been bypassed, you know, in your experience. Now it's time to focus on them. So it's asking for you to bring a sense of personal stability, where maybe there's been an element of scarcity in our lives here, beforehand. We're getting more involved in what we need on a personal level. It's taking action here. And in regard to this energy, as far as like your communications go, you have the Eight of Cups. So interesting communication. I mean, Eight of Cups is about walking away from things that are emotionally dissatisfying. It can also talk about escapism. It can talk about withdrawing. Sometimes it requires us to look deeper into the disappointment that we're currently experiencing, so that we can really kind of just realize that's not what I want in my life. This is not how I want to go about my life. I'm stuck. I've given a lot of energy to something, but here I'm not being fulfilled. I'm not being emotionally reciprocated. The things and the people that I'm engaged and involved with do not float my boat. They don't fill my cup. I need to find a bigger cup. It's kind of moving on from things, and I feel like this is really important for you, especially in situations where you have, like situations where cooperation is a thing, where working together is a thing with people. I feel here, Leo, that you guys are kind of pulling back a little bit and really focusing and re-energizing yourself, refocusing your energy on yourself is what I want to say. It feels, in this energy, it's like, how do I want to say it? It's like releasing the idea of how things have had power over you in the past, releasing I guess, the attachments to the monkey mind is what I want to say here. There's like a lot of like, um, because if you stay in something for so long, it doesn't, and it's not bringing fulfillment, then what is there to stay for? I feel here that um, you're creating a space for yourself to kindly excuse yourself. You're creating a space where you can communicate that this isn't satisfactory for you. And when you do that, it builds this personal sense of like well-being. It helps your well-being. It allows you to recognize, I'm taking care of my own needs here. I feel like this is a needs thing. So some of you may be dealing with situations where you have to communicate what your needs are, what your limits are. It doesn't mean that you are angry. It just means that you are able to communicate that, because it doesn't work well with what you need on an internal space for yourself. And that's entirely fair. So it feels like in the month of February, the communication that you are giving out to others is one of pretty much, I'm doing this to have a better result in my life. I'm doing this to find a better sense of freedom. I'm doing this to remove myself from these problematic, restrictive situations with people and with things that don't feed me. It's really kind of like a healthy selfishness, I want to say. In your health energy, you have the Six of Wands in reverse. Now, I do want to say the Six of Wands in reverse for health, it's not the best. Um, it's not the best. This can talk about situations, that may have, maybe you had an illness when you were a child, okay? Or maybe you had an illness that you had gotten through. But the Six of Wands can talk about a relapse, or it can talk about situations coming back up again to be readdressed. And so it's asking us to be very, mindful about your health right now. Be mindful about how you go, and engage in your health care when it comes to, situations that you may have already dealt with kind of rearing their head again. Um, you know and for some of you, this may be okay, you had a cold, you had a flu, here we go. It's coming back again. Or maybe you guys had whatever plague has been popping up in the world wherever, maybe it's happening again. It's about safeguarding yourself, but also doing what you can to be on the ball about how you address it, how you take care of it, and don't ignore it, okay? Don't ignore it. And some of you also, too, with the Page of Cups here, this can talk about mental health. It can talk about wounding from our childhood that is causing issues in our lives that really isn't allowing us to progress. And it's bringing fear into our lives, or we're acting upon fear rather than transmuting fear. And it's asking for us to pay attention to ourselves on an internal level and move forward here. We don't want to keep the cycle of the past going here. Okay, so whether that's physical or mental health, pay attention to it, address it now, because it's important for you to get a handle on it. Okay, moving forward here, you have the Nine of Swords over here upright for your financial energies. Now, this is one that is a bit frustrating, okay? The Nine of Swords is, did I say Nine of Wands? It's Nine of Swords. My goodness, I'm sorry. I'm gonna have a little sip of water real quick, okay? The Nine of Swords can talk a lot about frustration, anxiety, periods in our life where we are pretty much like in a constant state of worry. And the thing about it is, if you are an entrepreneurial type, if you own your own business, things may be a little bit frustrating right now. This may also be an opportunity where, like, maybe you are offering some sort of service at a discounted rate and you're worried it won't go well, or you're offering some sort of opportunity for people to, I hear, okay, so take advantage of. So yes, for them to take advantage of, but also I feel that there's some element where you might feel like you might be being taken advantage of. Okay, so you might be dealing with a work situation where you may be feeling like they take advantage of you. What can you do to fix that? Okay. Is it a fear of not being able to move on from that type of job because we need the stability? Or is it one where, I keep saying Nine of Swords. This is the Ten of Swords. This is an ending. I'm so sorry. So let's keep everything from the 9 to the 10, because that's kind of the buildup here. This is an ending here of this. So you're transmuting it. You are transmuting it. Don't let the fear get in the way. I feel the worst of this has already happened here, Leo. The worst of it has already happened here. I feel like you guys are having this awakening, though. You're coming out of a situation where it's like things are less tense. You are coming out of a situation where things are going to be, I guess I want to say you need to reduce your anxiety, because I'm still feeling anxiety here. What else for Leo in this energy? I'm getting like a very quick turnaround for some of you. I don't know if that is moving on from a position somewhere or finding a new job. There's a big quick turnaround, though. Here it feels like it's deserved, well deserved. I keep hearing couldn't come at a better time, couldn't come at a better time. Okay, so it's like relief coming in right when it's supposed to, which is wonderful. I'm glad to hear that. But also too, like, what are we saying? Something about a cameo. Don't make a cameo. I don't know what that means. I mean, as far as like, a cameo is an appearance or like a special appearance or something. What does that mean in that context? Maybe you're having fear about making a cameo in a previous situation, that was not negative, but maybe you've just stepped away from it. We do have that Eight of Cups here, okay? And we do have the Six of Wands coming back towards it. Do with that what you will. I'm going to move on from that message because it's confusing me too much. So either way, the Ten of Swords here in your finances, it does talk about an ending to a difficult situation and new things coming forward. As far as love is concerned here, you have the Devil in reverse. Okay, so with those of you who are already in relationships, there's an energy here where we are releasing the negativity. We may have been very focused on certain aspects of negative situations in our relationship. It's like trying to untangle that web so we can have the freedom to actually come back together in unison with our partner, so we can exchange honesty here. I also feel that for some of you, you may be dealing with situations with a partner where it's like your addictions trigger their addictions, trigger this negative outcome type of situation. Your triggers trigger them and blah, blah, blah. It's like that kind of like cycle. So here we have to address the triggers. We have to address the trauma that created those triggers. It's not about staying in the fear of it. It's about addressing things, Leo. It's about finishing and finalizing them, because we realize that in a partnership, if we are to have this moving forward, it can't be a situation where we're constantly in conflict. It has to end, and we both have to come to the decision that we are not here to harm each other. We are not here to keep rehashing the past and not forgive each other. There's an element here where it's like things that need to be spoken must be spoken, but also they must be seen, heard, and forgiven. This is not about holding on to things, okay? For those of you who are completely single, you may not have enough time to be in a relationship right now. You may be feeling like you're spread out everywhere. You may just be taking care of yourself. This can also talk about like obsessively taking care of oneself, and that's okay. I guess what this whole energy very much talks to me about, though, from this whole reading is like a healthy sense of selfishness, I guess, which keeps popping up here. But like the Devil in reverse, it's asking you to, if you are engaging with people, if you are trying to date around, like it may be multiple options that don't really seem to work, yet you're still trying to juggle them, to just find out maybe if it's not working, it's not working. If you don't feel if you don't get to know them enough and it's not gelling, don't stick around in it. It's no point. You'll know when something feels right. If you're trying to force it to feel right just because you don't want to be alone, or you don't want to, it leads to more uncomfortable energy. And that's also based on a sense of fear and lack. Leo. What else can you tell me for Leo, please? Some of you are dealing with a situation internally where it's like, if you feel like you deny yourself something, it's kind of like your world shifts a little bit in a negative way. It's like you, how do I want to say that? Some of you are very selfish. And some of you are not stepping away from that or looking at that in a different way. It's like some of you are very, very selfish here. And it's getting in the way of your relationships. It's getting in the way of how you see life, how you expect life to be presented to you, how it's supposed to be presented to you. There's this really weird kind of warped perception here where it's like you may be looking at life in a way like, what's that little fable, the grasshopper and the ants? The world owes me a living. The grasshopper that didn't want to do anything but wanted the world served on a platter to him. Like it's kind of that. Like it's the expectation that something is going to go this way, and if I deny myself that, then why would I do that? Like, I don't know where this is going, but it's very, very much about like the negative bond or the negative tie that we have with that type of mentality, because it is coming from a sense of lack. It does come from a sense of entitlement, which we don't necessarily get in this life. Like you're not entitled to anything. You're not entitled to your next breath. So it's almost like being too. Being too wrapped up in how a thing is supposed to happen for you rather than allowing something to be experienced. That's a weird message, Leo. I'm going to leave it there. I hope that this reading is helpful for you. I know this is all over the place. If it was, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. Be kind to yourself, be open to new things, and take care of your own physical health and your well-being, okay? If you want a personal reading, it's in the description box below. I love you guys. Take care, okay? Bye-bye.